Hello students. In today's class, we are going to discuss the major techniques of control. The very first technique that we are going to talk about is the budgetary control. You all are aware what a budget is, how it is prepared. So how do we use it for controlling? What kinds of budget are there that can be prepared? That we are going to discuss. When the budget is prepared, be it prepared for the cash budget, be it the sales budget, be it any kind of budget, what we are trying to do is we are trying to portray a forecast for the future. We are trying to anticipate the results and we put it in a form of a statement for a specific period of time. So if I'm preparing a monthly budget, what I do that in the next month, what all I am going to do. Say if I'm making my house budget, my home budget, so and I make it monthly, then what would I put up? That in this month, what would be my income sources, how much money I'm going to get, and what are the anticipated outlets, what are the anticipated places, or what are the anticipated things wherein I'm going to spend that money. That gives me my budget statement. So when you prepare this budget statement, at the end of that period, when you get the actual results, you can compare it with this budget. So it basically serves as a standard that you are formulating. At the end of the month, if the home budget has been prepared, then at the end of the month, the person can check that, okay, I anticipated that I am going to earn 20,000 rupees in this month. Was I able to earn it or not? Similarly, on the payment sides, on the expenditure side, we can see that I estimated that I'll have to spend out around 8,000 rupees out of this. Did I spend 8,000 only? Did I spend more than that, or I had spent less than that? This can be compared to with the budget that has been prepared. Now, when we talk about an organization, there are various types of budgets that can be prepared and they are all interlinked to each other. The first that you can see on this slide is the sales budget. So in this, we will try to forecast that what is the expected sales level. If I'm preparing it monthly, then monthly sales level. If I'm preparing it for a quarter, then in this quarter, how much sales I am expecting of my products and services. If I'm preparing a yearly budget, then yearly sales that we are expecting from our organization. And then you can also divide it further. Let's say if an organization is producing 5 kinds of products, then it can have the total sales that it is expecting. How much sales out of this total will be from each of that product, or if there is a single product, then from which area how much sales revenue you are expecting, that can be made out. So this gives you the sales volume that is being expected for the given period of time. How will we prepare it? What will be our basis of preparing this? The past data. What are my orders that I have already got? If I have any advance orders for the products. What is the population trend of the area that I am talking about? What is the price sensitivity, and am I planning to change the price of the product that I'm offering to my customers? What is the kind of competition that is existing in the market? If we are advertising the product, what is the impact of that advertising? Will it be rising the sales, or it will not be rising the sales? How much sales will rise? That we can account for in the budget. So there can be various things that will impact the budget that you are making. But what we are doing in sales budget is we are trying to forecast that for whatever period we are preparing the budget, what will be our anticipated sales volume. The next is the production budget, which will derive, the major source from where it will derive is the sales budget. If I have anticipated that for the next quarter we will be able to sell 20,000 units of the product that we are producing, on the basis of the sales volume only, I will decide that how much I should produce. If we'll be able to sell out 20,000 units of product in the next quarter, then my production should be at that level that this much units are available. Higher than these units are available, something can be in stock, how much we can store in stock, how much we'll be selling. All this will frame the basis of the production budget. So what is the production cycle? What are the seasonal fluctuations? What are the sales target? What kind of timings are there when the orders will be received or given? Especially if you are preparing say a yearly budget और आपने कहा है कि पूरे साल में आप 50,000 यूनिट्स बेच पाओगे, तो आपको प्रोडक्शन बजट भी उसी हिसाब से बनाना है कि आपको वो 50,000 प्रोडक्ट्स आपके थ्रू आउट द ईयर सेल आउट होने हैं. तो आप ऐसा तो नहीं सोच सकते कि फर्स्ट ही मंथ में हम पूरा प्रोडक्शन कर दें और बाकी महीने हमारा प्रोडक्शन साइकिल में कुछ नहीं चल रहा और हमें स्टोरेज स्पेस का पैसा जो है वो खर्च करना पड़ रहा है, हमारी इन्वेंट्री ब्लॉक हो रही है, हमारा कैश ब्लॉक हो रहा है. सो अकॉर्डिंग टू द सेल्स यू विल हैव टू make out your production budget. Then is the materials budget. Whatever we are producing, some raw material will be used. So what is my production volume? That will determine my materials volume. अगर से एक यूनिट में हमारा कोई एक XYZ मटेरियल है, वो पर यूनिट में हमारे 5 यूनिट्स उस रॉ मटेरियल के यूज होते हैं एक यूनिट ऑफ फाइनल प्रोडक्ट बनाने में, और मैं ये कह रही हूँ कि मुझे 20,000 फाइनल प्रोडक्ट्स चाहिए, फाइनल यूनिट्स ऑफ प्रोडक्ट्स 20,000 चाहिए, एक यूनिट में 5 यूनिट्स ऑफ रॉ मटेरियल यूज हो रहा है, तो मुझे रॉ मटेरियल कितना चाहिए 20,000 into 5 which is 1 lakh units. This is how you derive your materials budget. Then similarly we have the labor budget. How many labor hours will be required to produce a particular product? Again, this will come from the production budget. Then we have another kind of budget, which is the cash budget, wherein you try to estimate that what is going to be the income source, how much cash receipts will be there, how much cash outflow will be there, disbursements, payments that have to be made, and that can tell you that how much cash you are having. Are you having surplus cash? So you can invest it somewhere. If you are having less cash, that means your income is less than what you are expected to be spent out in this time period, then you will have to arrange for extra cash. This you will come to know from your cash budget. Then we have the capital expenditure budget, which relates to the capital investment that you are doing. You all have studied this in accounts. If say we have to purchase some plant and machinery, if we have to purchase some furniture, any fixed asset, any capital that you are investing in, then you prepare a capital expenditure budget. Then we have overheads budget. Now there are certain costs which are known as overhead costs. जब आपका कोई मटेरियल है जो डायरेक्टली आपका फिनिश प्रोडक्ट में जा रहा है, वो आपका डायरेक्ट मटेरियल होता है. ऐसे ही आपका लेबर कॉस्ट जो आपका डायरेक्टली उस प्रोडक्ट को बनाने के लिए यूज हो रही है, लेबर आवर्स, दे गो इनटू डायरेक्ट लेबर कॉस्ट. इसके ओवर एंड अबव जो हमारे एक्सपेंडिचर्स होते हैं, ठीक है, बहुत सारे एक्सपेंडिचर्स हैं. लेट्स से टेक एन एग्जांपल that you have an office set up where in your administrative staff sits. अब ये जो एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव में आपका खर्चा हो रहा है, ये डायरेक्टली प्रोडक्शन में इंक्लूडेड नहीं है, तो इसको हम क्या कहते हैं, इसको हम ओवरहेड कॉस्ट कहते हैं. से यू आर रनिंग अ कैंटीन फॉर योर वर्कर्स, ठीक है. अब वो कैंटीन का जो एक्सपेंडिचर है वो डायरेक्टली प्रोडक्शन एक्सपेंडिचर नहीं है, क्योंकि वो मटेरियल डायरेक्टली प्रोडक्शन में नहीं लग रहा, वो लेबर डायरेक्टली प्रोडक्शन में इन्वॉल्व नहीं है. तो इस तरह के एक्सपेंडिचर्स को हम क्या कहते हैं, ओवरहेड एक्सपेंडिचर कहते हैं. And they are further divided into factory overheads, the selling and distribution overheads and administrative overheads. तो factory related जो खर्चा है, say for example आपका factory rent है, ठीक है, that is your factory overheads. Then if you have an office space, as I said, and you are paying some administrative staff, उनकी office staff की salaries हैं, that they go into the administrative overheads. Similarly you have selling and distribution overheads, जो आप प्रमोशन में, एडवर्टाइजिंग में एक्सपेंडिचर कर रहे हो, तो दे गो अंडर दी सेलिंग एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ओवरहेड्स. सो फॉर दीज ओवरहेड्स कॉस्ट दैट आर इन्वॉल्व्ड, वी कैन प्रिपेयर अ सेपरेट बजट दैट विल बी नोन एज द ओवरहेड्स बजट. Then there can be a master budget which incorporates all the kind of costs, a summary of the entire budget system of an organization, that will be your master budget, a comprehensive detailing of the costs. And last is variable versus fixed budgets or fixed versus flexible budgets. Fixed budget का क्या मतलब होता है कि हमने एक वॉल्यूम सिलेक्ट कर लिया. से आई हैव सेड दैट 10,000 यूनिट्स ऑफ आउटपुट के लिए मैं ये बजट बना रही हूँ, तो 10,000 यूनिट्स ऑफ आउटपुट पे मेरी क्या कॉस्टिंग आएगी, ये मुझे फिक्स्ड बजट बता देगा. वेरिएबल बजट या फ्लेक्सिबल बजट में वी प्रिपेयर इट इन सच अ मैनर कि आप का जो कॉस्ट है वो पर यूनिट कॉस्ट दिखाई जाती है, सो दैट यू आर अवेयर दैट इफ माय यूनिट आर 10,000 व्हाट विल बी माय कॉस्ट, इफ द यूनिट्स आर 20,000 व्हाट विल बी द कॉस्ट, if the units are 10,000 what will be the cost. That is your flexible budget. So they show the cost schedules which will show you that how the costs are going to vary with the variation in the levels of the output. They are your flexible budgets. Now when the budgetary control is being done, There can be various advantages of it. It helps you in planning, it helps you in better coordination. It's easier to communicate with your staff because they know well in advance what is being expected. Employees are motivated to work because they are aware of the expectations that are there. The budgets are being made in consultation with them, so they feel motivated to achieve it. So all these are benefits, but at the same time, there are certain limitations also. There are certain drawbacks of budgetary control as well. For example, it might be inaccurate क्योंकि आप forecast कर रहे हो future के बारे में. If the budget is very rigid and you require some change within that time period, आपने yearly budget बनाया और आपने जो फोरकास्ट किया था उसमें कहीं पर कुछ चेंजेस रिक्वायर्ड हैं, कुछ मार्केट में नई चीज आ गई, कोई नया कॉम्पिटिटर आ गया जिसकी वजह से यू विल हैव टू मेक द चेंजेस, सो यू नीड फ्लेक्सिबल बजट. लेकिन अगर आप ये कह देते हो कि साल के शुरू में बजट बन गया था, इसी के अकॉर्डिंग हमें चलना पड़ेगा, देन दैट कैन सर्व एज अ limitation. Similarly, there can be misuse of budgets. It might serve out as an expensive source of control and so on. So what we will try to see is that if we are saying it is an important tool of control, we are saying it is one of the most traditional techniques of control. So what is it that we should keep in mind so that budgetary control is effective? So these are the things, if they are inherent in your budgetary control system, it will make it an effective controlling technique. फर्स्ट एक्यूरेट फोरकास्टिंग. जितनी ज़्यादा एफिशिएंट फोरकास्टिंग होगी, और वो कब होगा, जब आपने अच्छे से रिसर्च करके फोरकास्ट किया है, जब आपके पास डेटा जो है वो अच्छे से अवेलेबल है और उस डेटा के बेसिस पे आप फोरकास्ट कर रहे हो, तो आपकी फोरकास्टिंग एक्यूरेट होने के चांसेस हायर हैं. जितनी ज़्यादा आपकी फोरकास्टिंग एक्यूरेट होगी, उतना ज़्यादा आपका बजट एस्टिमेट जो है वो बेटर होगा, उसमें बहुत ज़्यादा फ्लक्चुएशन नहीं होगा. सो इट विल बी एन इफेक्टिव कंट्रोल सिस्टम. There has to be a sound organization structure. जो आपके authority responsibility relationships हैं वो clearly defined होने चाहिए. Proper budget committee होनी चाहिए जहाँ पर आपका representation है from all the departments, so that whichever department wants to propose something or they have any concerns about the budget, they can put it there and then when the budget is being prepared. Flexibility has to be there, जो मैंने आपको already बताया, that it will require continuous review and revision. डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द नीड्स. सो यू कैन नॉट बी वेरी रिजिड कि नहीं एक बार बन गया बजट उसके बाद हम चेंज नहीं करेंगे. देन क्विक रिकॉर्डिंग एंड रिपोर्टिंग हैज टू बी देयर, व्हिच मींस दैट यू नो promptly and adequately you have to mention the results, you have to mention the deviations from the standard so that immediately the defect can be removed. फ्लेक्सिबल बजट होने का फायदा तभी है अगर आप इमीडिएटली रिपोर्ट करते हो डेविएशंस और उसमें वो फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी का फायदा उठाकर बजट में चेंजेस किए जा सकते हैं. सो क्विकली द रिजल्ट्स हैव टू बी रिकॉर्डेड एंड दे हैव टू बी रिपोर्टेड. Top management support is definitely required. If the top management does not feel कि budget is an important part, then it will not be an important part. If the top management gives due weightage and due advantage to the budget that is being made, then it will turn out to be a successful tool. Participation of the employees, of the people who are actually working, is very important because they know the nitty-gritties of the place they are working in. They know all the things that are going to matter in the future course of action. So it is important that the employees, the people who are actually going to work at that place, they participate. Then budgeting has to be a gradual process. You have to give sufficient time while preparing the budget. It cannot be made in a hasty way. You cannot say कि हाँ बस हम बैठे और फटाफट एक घंटे के अंदर एक दिन के अंदर पूरा बजट बन जाए. That is not possible. You have to look at all the past data. You have to look at the future trends, and then the budget has to be decided upon. And the last is open communication, which means that your employees should be trained in such a manner that they are told that they are free to participate in the budget making. They are free to give their observations in the budget making. If they have any concerns, then they can freely communicate it. That kind of a system you will have to make so that effective budget control can be there. So this was the first technique that we discussed, which is the effective budgetary control, the budgetary controlling technique. The second technique that we are going to discuss today is the balanced scorecard approach. Now this was the approach which has been proposed by Robert Kaplan and David Norton. and it is a very recent approach. 1992, this was introduced, this scorecard approach was introduced. The basic crux of this was that Kaplan and Norton said, when you are looking at an organization, you have to look at a 360-degree angle and you have to include all the perspectives. What all perspectives are to be included? They said you have to include the financial perspective, which is generally seen by all the organizations. Financial perspective तो हमेशा सब organizations देखते ही हैं कि हम कितना profit हमारा आ रहा है, हमारा ROI कितना है, हम shareholders को कितना उनका payback कर पा रहे हैं, if we are having shareholders, and so on. This is generally seen. But apart from that, they said that you also should look at the customer perspective. You should also look at the business and production process perspective, as well as at the learning and innovation perspective. अब इनका मतलब क्या है, इसको हम एक एक करके समझेंगे. Financial perspective, I've already told you, it basically tells that what are the company's strategies, what are their return on capital, what kind of cash flow they are having, what is their revenue system, is it growing or not, what are their growth opportunities, what is their liquidity ratio, how much cash they are having. All these things, they are the financial perspective, right, which helps you in knowing that what is your financial value as an organization. The second is the customer perspective, wherein they said that you should focus on the goals related to consumers. क्या क्या goals होते हैं consumer से related? First is the acquisition of customers. That means attracting customers for your products and services that your organization is offering. Then is the retention and satisfaction of customers. If you only focus on acquiring the customers, कि आप नए customers तो बना रहे हो, but you are not focusing on the satisfaction of the customers, then you will not be able to retain them. They will not stay with you. They will move to the competitor as soon as they get a chance. तो आपको सिर्फ customer की acquisition पे focus नहीं करना है, उसके साथ साथ आपको customer की satisfaction level और उनकी retention पर भी focus करना है. How is it that the customers look at our organization? Are they satisfied with the products and services we are giving? Are they satisfied with the image of the company? Are they going to stay with the company for long? Will they be the loyal customers? What are we doing as a company to make them loyal customers? These are your customer perspective, because they said that if you are able to retain your customers, if you are able to provide satisfaction to your customers, if they are not changing over to your competitors, this will further help you in gaining the financial perspective. Then the third that they talked about is the business and production process perspective, wherein they said that you should focus on your core competence. What are the key result areas of your business? What are the major skills that you have, which is giving you an edge over and above your competitors? What is your core competency? What is it that you have in you which your competitors are not having, and focus on it. Make it stronger further. Okay. Say for example, my organization is very efficient in the production system. We have very low wastages, right? Or we have very low defect rate. Now this is my core competence, क्योंकि मेरा defect rate कम है products में, it means wastage कम है, उसका मतलब है कि मेरी cost reduction possible है due to lesser wastage, और cost reduction की वजह से I am able to give that product to my consumers at a very competitive rate. So if this is my core competence, I must focus on it, and through this perspective, I should try to measure my performance. Then the last that they talked about is the learning and innovation perspective, because if an organization is not improving, if they are not learning, if they are not changing with the needs of the environment, they are going to vanish off from the market. So they have to focus on improving, on new product development, on maybe bettering out the existing products, giving better services to their consumers, giving money for value for the money that your consumers are paying, improving employee productivity, retaining employees as well as customers. These can be the measures of performance on which you can see whether you are continuously learning or not, whether you are continuously innovating or not. What is it that you have brought into the organization as an employee. Ask your employees this, that as an employee, what has been your contribution to the organization? Have you been able to bring in anything new? If not, then try to see the reason. Is it that you are not giving enough space to your employees to innovate, or is it that they are hesitant in innovating, or is it that they are not sharp enough to bring in something new into the organization? If it is so, give them training. Give them, help them in learning new things so that they can replicate it on your organization and you can further develop them, right? So these are the four perspectives which Kaplan and Norton said that you have to focus upon when you are looking at your business. When you are trying to control the things, you have to control it from all these perspectives. You have to combine the quantitative and qualitative measures of all these perspectives. Then only you will be able to have a good controlling system. Now, there are various companies which have already implemented this. Within India, I am talking about, and they are the big companies. You have Godrej, you have Tata's, Dabur, Colgate. These are the companies which you all have heard names of. Nestle. That is why I'm giving you these names. These companies are already following this balanced scorecard approach because this helps them in looking at the various perspectives. This helps them in looking at, you can say, a 360-degree angle. All the stakeholders that are involved, it is covering them. And through all the stakeholders, you are able to get to know the performance of your organization rather than by just measuring it on the basis of revenue or cost. So these were the two techniques that we have discussed for today. In the next class, we'll be taking up further more techniques of controlling. Thank you.